Howdy folks, welcome back to Reading Held Hostage. My name's Blue and I love to read.
My name's Justin, I don't like to read.
You don't?
Yeah, it's weirdly been a while since we've recorded.
Just a small amount of time.
Anything different with you?
Yeah, there's no big ass baby in my stomach anymore.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, she's over there making noise with you.
Probably picking up.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine it wouldn't be. Mm-hmm. But we had the baby. Pretty good delivery.
Yep.
And she's a monster baby. She's huge.
4 weeks old is recording.
Yep. About the size of a 3-month-old.
Yep.
Or I guess a 4-month-old. She was about the size of a 3-month-old when she came out.
Well, she's in 3 to 6 clothes right now.
It's horrible for me.
Monster baby.
Yeah, very different than our protagonist in this book.
She's just a whittle.
She's just a whittle baby girl.
With a whittle.
Also, just real quick on the baby, we're going to not say her real person name. We're going to call her a different fake name on the podcast when we refer to her. So, just letting everybody know that.
Also, if you know our baby's name and just don't, comment it, I guess.
Yeah, that'd be great. But yeah, so we're reading Divergent. Well, we're finishing the second part of Divergent. And in the timeline of this podcast, this will just come out the week after our first part. Mm-hmm. So for us, it's been 5 weeks since we talked about... Well, for you, it's been 5 weeks since thinking about Divergent. I've unfortunately been reading Insurgent, the second book. Justin, what happened in the first part of Divergent?
They put on the sorting hat.
Mm-hmm. And by that, you mean... cut their hand open and then dripped blood over a big bowl.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then they jumped off the Hogwarts Express.
Mm-hmm. Where that one girl did die.
She died.
Mm-hmm.
Then they jumped down a big pit.
Yep. Yeah, Triss made it down the pit.
And then they did some fight training.
Mm-hmm. Fight Club. Do you remember anything else?
Nope.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, so do you remember the relationship situation?
She likes the... what is his name? 4?
Yeah. Who's 2 years her senior, and also her teacher.
And a higher up.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah. So there's that. And the other stuff that was going on was, Triss was doing the simulation.
Yeah.
Okay, where she's like, I am not controlled, I can break,
Is Triss the main character?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where she's like, I'm divergent, the simulation can't control me, I can control it. And then 4 was like, okay, it's super clear you're divergent, fucking stop. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Are you lying?
Yeah.
Okay. You should have listened to the first episode again.
I don't listen to this stupid podcast.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Anyways, so now we're going to start, we're at about chapter 20, 22-ish. And I've labeled this section...
No, it's 2024.
Oh. Well, I've labeled this section the assault. So
trigger warning?
Yeah, but I've got a more specific trigger warning when it comes. So it's been 4 days of stress and freaking out about things. Erudite has been... Do you remember Erudite?
I thought you were going to say you're a lesbian slur.
Oh, Lord. Do you remember them, though? They're the smart faction. Brains.
Yeah.
Okay. And they've been putting out...
let's go over the boys.
Okay.
So we got smart boys.
Erudite.
Fight boys.
Dauntless.
Lawyer boys.
Candor.
Political boys.
Abnegation.
Which are 2 different boys.
Yes. Farmers.
Farmer boys.
Amity.
Okay.
You good?
That's 5 boys.
Yeah, there's 5
boys.
5 factions.
And then the homeless.
Yeah, and then the fuck you. So Erudite has been putting article after article about how Abnegation, which are the political boys, mm-hmm. about how they're bad and they're hoarding things, and she takes some time to remember what brought her to Dauntless. And in her next simulation, this is Triss, she's held at gunpoint and told to shoot her own family. And basically she ends up shooting herself instead. She's like, I'm not shooting my family. And kills herself instead, which is a simulation. And 4's like, I just don't think about my family often. I'm outside the norm. And she's in her brain, she's like, just fucking tell me you're divergent or not.
Isn't her dad a bad political boy?
No. Well, her dad's a political boy.
No, his dad, sorry.
Yeah, his dad beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wrote, like, in my notes, like, something that pisses me off about this is, like, I'm able to recognize nowadays that this is trope versus, like, this is the tropes teachers in students. And he's, like, left in a room alone with her while she's unconscious. In the simulations.
Cool.
And, like, even though they're not doing, like, sexy eyes, like, they're not being not obvious. Yeah. And, like, there should always, like, even if they weren't doing sexy eyes, there should still be a secondary person in the room.
If someone's
while there's an unconscious person, there should be a secondary person.
There's a secondary person.
Yeah. Anyways, back in the dorms, so they're getting ranked again. Do you remember how they do that? They get, like, ranked, and then only the top 10 get to make it into Dauntless, and the rest get kicked out. Exactly.
Where they put your name on a flat screen TV that they turn sideways and list them all out, and there's a red line.
Yeah, and it's a PowerPoint presentation.
And the intern made it.
Yeah. Triss is ranked first. Peter is second. Do you remember Peter? No. He's the guy who stabbed Edward.
I remember Edward.
Yeah. So the thing is, even if we had just recorded this the first episode yesterday, you would be the same.
Same way.
So Triss is first. It takes her 3 minutes to get out of the simulations. And Peter, who is in second, takes 8 minutes to get out of the simulation. And you're like, who cares? And it's like, well, because that means she's...
You can't be too good at this, dog.
Yeah. Which somebody specifically warned her about. She was already warned about this.
3 people warned her about this?
Mm-hmm. Everybody's warning her, like, don't be good.
I guess like, the person who tested her and then the person...
Tori, Tobias, or, 4, and then her mom warned her about this.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, so Al is last, and Will and Christina, her other friends, are in the middle.
But Tori did it twice. Because Tori tested her originally.
And was like, don't do anything. And then they talked, and she was like, don't specifically be careful.
Don't do anything.
Yeah.
And then her mom showed up and was like, hey, stop doing what you're doing.
Don't do what you're... And then 4 was like, don't do what you're doing.
Yeah. Seems like...
she's not very good at...
A dumbass.
Yeah. And so now she has the target on her back. And Peter attacks her, like, in the room and is like, how are you manipulating us to think you're just a tiny girl who can't do anything to get, like, to kick us out of Dauntless? That's his thought process, is she's pretending to be weak.
She's just pretending to be a girly girl.
And her friends are like, is that true? And she's like,
no,
fuck off.
What?
And Al, like, is like, leave me alone, and he cries because he's a pansy. She gets recruited to hang out with Uriah, Marlene, and Lynn, who are some of the Dauntless-born initiates. And they congratulate her. They're like, way to go. You're kicking ass. What?
She's just a baby.
And they do, like, fucking, I don't know, Dauntless stuff.
They kiss and ride trains.
Shoot a muffin off somebody's head with plastic pellets.
Cool.
But they get caught by 4.
Wait. Is it just an airsoft gun?
Pretty much, yeah. And he's like, Triss, hold back. And he's like, hey, you belong here with us. And they, like, hold hands. And it's like, ugh. Okay. And then in the middle of the night, she gets up to go to the bathroom. And that's when she hears Eric, the leader, fake Malcolmore, talking to somebody about how his only job there is to find the Divergent rebels. And so far, there's no signs of a Divergent in their group. And she's like, yes.
Dog, have you been paying attention?
Literally. And while she listens to this, she gets kidnapped by Peter, Drew, and a third person who she can't tell.
Peter?
Trigger warning for assault, sexual assault, and I guess general, like, kidnappingness. Peter gropes her.
Cool. That's a cool thing to do.
Jokes about how there's nothing there, she might as well be a kid. And she's disgusted. So, like, this is extra. So this would be hard for a normal person,
the thing is...
It didn't need to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't add anything, really.
Mm. But the only thing... I mean, it doesn't really add anything because they don't talk about it again. But it would hit her extra hard because of the way she's been raised. They don't do anything like that. Like, they don't talk about their bodies and abnegation, like, at all. So, like, this is, like, extra disturbing for her.
Really? Because she has said, I'm so tiny every chance.
6 seconds. Yeah. But she realizes that the third boy is actually Al, who she thought was one of her best friends.
Cool.
And she's being physically held over the chasm. And
cool thing to have, really.
Yeah. After being beat up a little.
In your house, a chasm.
Yeah.
Why don't we have a cool chasm?
You know, I wish. I asked the realtor.
Find us a place with a chasm in it. Mm-hmm. And they said, with this budget?
So 4 saves her from this group of boys who attacked her. And she wakes up in 4's room in pain. And he's like, you're busted. Like,
why is he in there? Why?
No,
is
it's
she
his
in
room.
there?
She's
Why
in his
is
room.
She in
I don't
there,
know.
Unconscious.
Yeah. And he's like, hey, I fucked Drew up. Like, I beat his ass up.
I fucked him.
Oh. And Peter and Al ran away, but he's like, you have to pretend you're weak and vulnerable, or like people aren't gonna want to help you. And then he's like, don't call me 4, but I'm not gonna tell you my real name. Don't call me anything yet. I did already say his real name, but it doesn't matter. Okay, the next part, which I've labeled that escalates quickly, because it gets worse. So just, if you need trigger warnings, just,
I think I'm just going to take a nap.
No, I'll let you know when it happens, but just don't turn that part of your brain off yet. Like, it's still...
Hey, just kind of stay on your toes.
Yeah,
like, you
just,
know
like, stay on your
listening to
toes.
this for fun. Just be anxious that anytime we might trigger you.
Not anytime, I warn. So she sleeps in 4's room. And, you know, when he wakes, like, he's showering, and she looks into his mirror. This is how they describe it. It's like, the mirror is so tall, she can't see herself in it. I googled, she's like 5 foot 1 inch, like 5 foot and an inch.
Yep.
I don't know why she wouldn't be able to see herself in, like, a face mirror. Like...
Because it's 5 foot 5 inches tall.
Anyway, she's beat to shit, and she knows she has to, like, pretend to be weak. And
Did she climb on the fucking counter, or...?
I don't know. Maybe get a step stool, a kid's little stool. 4 and her have another romantic moment, but they have to leave separately from the room because, again, they shouldn't be seen together, and they should not be having a romantic time together.
They shouldn't be together.
Yep. She goes into, like, the cafeteria and sits with Will and Christine and Uriah. And all of them are like, yo, what the fuck? Like, why do you look like that? And she's like, Peter, Drew, and Hal tried to throw me over the cavern. And that somebody saved me last night. Chasm, sorry. You're right.
Dumb son of
I'm so sorry. And the 3 of them get, like, really protective over her. Because she's just so small and tiny. And even if she wasn't so small and tiny, like, 3 against 1 is pretty fucked. And also trying to commit murder is pretty fucked.
Yeah.
And then Christina's like, I'm sorry.
Don't do murder, but if you do it, 1-on-1.
Yeah, even it out.
Yeah.
And they go up with 4, like, they go up with their class to the top of the pit. I actually cannot physically comprehend how this area looks. How this compound looks.
I'm thinking of it like a Minecraft base in a ravine.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's not far off. 4 tells them this is the 3rd stage of things, a different simulation where the worst of their fears have been...
And then he says 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 3, 5, 4.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna have to fight their way out through their biggest fears in front of all the leaders. And they have to do the same thing, which is regulate their heartbeats or find a way to face their fears in these scenarios. That's it, pretty much. And later in the day, Al tries to talk to her and apologize, and she, like, fucking refuses to hear from him. Which I agree.
Yeah, he did try to murder me, though.
Yeah, and he's like, we were just trying to, like, scare you.
Murder
I didn't
me.
know they were gonna do that. And she goes, if you ever come near me again, I will kill you. Trigger warning. Suicide. Basically, Al takes his own life by throwing himself into the chasm.
Fucking cool.
Yeah. And...
a very, very good response.
Mm-hmm. he somehow drowns in the chasm, but his body is just, like, right there for everybody to see. So that doesn't make any sense to me how you can drown, but, like, because it's, like, a river, like, he would have...
Okay.
Anyways, that, I guess...
Maybe it's a really shallow river.
It just seems like blunt force trauma would be...
Got knocked out, face down, and drowned.
I guess it's not that big of a deal, but... It was I had to think logistically during this point because it was like, what is going on? The funeral is quick. Again, stay on your toes. There's another trigger warning coming up. The funeral is quick. Everyone gets drunk, and she hangs out with Tori. And she asks Tori, like, how long did it take for your brother's death to feel, like, less? And she's like, it doesn't. Like, it still feels like he died. During the funeral, she... gets into a little fight before Eric gives a speech. And then, again, another massive trigger warning for the same topic of suicide. Eric goes on about how brave Al was for taking his life and how he should be celebrated and that it's the bravest thing a Dauntless can do. And she's like... And
no!
Four grabs her and she's like, what is going on? Why are they talking about him this way? And she's like, what? He's like, what do you want them to do? And she's like, I don't know, but the way they're doing it right now means that everybody now sees that throwing themselves into the chasm and taking their own life is the bravest thing they can do as a Dauntless. She's like, how is that a good
message for anybody?
Yeah. So, that's most of the suicide talk.
Most of?
I think that's it for this book. Next book, Gulp. After her talk, he's like, hey, you need to be careful. Like, they're watching you. I'm trying to make things better for you, but, like, you know, like, you're fucking shit up.
I think the thing with sexual assault and with his book in Twilight that pisses me off so much is that they treat it like some shows treat, like, dismemberment.
Yeah.
Like, it's, oh, they got their hand cut off, but no, robot hand, you can't notice.
Yeah.
Like, it's, there's no consequence to it.
Yeah. It just happens, and it's like, whoop!
And it's like, no, that happens and changes people's life. It changes their brain chemistry. It, like, it fucks people up. Mm-hmm. And they're just like, it happened, whoop.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's kind of a big deal, actually. Like, can we talk about that for, like, a single extra second? Or can it have ramifications? No? Okay, cool.
And, like, if you're not gonna put ramifications on it, don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's interesting to read a book where someone...
I've read great books where something...
Where someone loses an arm or a leg or something, and then they have to deal with that for the rest of the book.
Yeah.
Or... someone gets sexually assaulted, and they have to live through that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're just like, it's sexually assault, but it's, like, fine. Yeah. It's, like, in a cool way.
Or, like, this suicide happened, but, like, eh.
Yeah.
And it's like, this book was made for kids. Okay, anyways. Yeah, he does, like, the classic, like, hands against the wall... with her in between him. Do you know, like, the movement I'm talking about?
The wall, yeah.
And here's this actual clip from the book. I wish I was taller. If I was tall, my narrow build would be described as willowy instead of childish, and he might not see me as a little sister he needs to protect. I don't want him to see me as his sister.
Radical.
It's uncomfortable, but he's like, my first instinct is not to protect you, but to break you, because fear wakes you up, and I love to see it. And they're doing lots of touching, and then he kisses her in, like, her eyebrows, and she has her hands on his
That's a weird fucking place to kiss someone.
Again, this is during the funeral.
My God.
Yeah.
Hey, I know your friend just died. Let me slobber up them brows, baby.
She gets
I'm a real brow guy. You know, boobs and butts, guys.
Are you a Neanderthal? Because
look at the brows.
Look at that brow line. Yeah. So they have, like, a bit. She does some bonding time with her friends Christina and Will, and she spots Four walking towards the top part of the compound, And she's like, I'm going to go with him. And Christina and Will are like, okay, that's weird, but fine. Because they're doing a really good job at hiding that they're together. Four invites her into his fear landscape. And he has 4 fears. Heights, confinement, killing a woman. We don't know who the woman is. And finally, we learn his name when his 4th fear is Marcus, the leader of the government. Trigger warning, beating the shit out of a young 4.
Cool. Whose
name we learn is Tobias. And during this fear landscape, she grabs the belt that Tobias is beating, or that Tobias is being beat with. And when they leave the simulation, she's like normal. She's like, wow, that was crazy. And he's like,
I just faced all my worst fears in like one go. So.
And then you somehow attacked my worst fear back. Like, that meant a lot to me. And she's like, okay. And you know, she's like, I want to know what the results of your aptitude test were. Basically, if you're divergent.
It feels like not only is the author not aware of how consequences work, but the people inside, like the Triss, is not aware either.
Like, that was crazy. He's like, hello?
You just conquered one of my worst fears in my brain, basically. Like, what?
Like, what? So, you know, Tobias is like, they're having a romantic moment, and he's like, I feel like I don't belong, because, like, selfishness and bravery are not all that different. And they're having this romantic thing, and he's like, you know, I watched you and observed you, and he's like, I really like you, and she's like, yeah, that's crazy, like, you're older than me, and he's like, yeah, 2-year age gap is crazy, and it's like, it's not really that, guys, it's the teacher dynamic.
Every time you say Tobias, I think of Tobuscus. Do you remember that guy?
No.
The YouTube
I don't.
Guy?
No.
He was like a YouTube personality, like Markiplier type.
Okay.
Way back, and he's now like super right wing.
Great.
He got caught texting kids, and now he's super right wing.
That usually happens. Speaking of texting kids, she's like, well, I'm not even that pretty. And he's like, okay, and? He's like, sure, you're not even that pretty, but I still like you.
Cool.
And then they kiss.
I like you, Uggo.
And then they make out. How are you feeling so far?
Tired. I'm tired of this book.
Yeah, tired of this book.
Tired of this series.
Tired in general.
I don't know. For some reason, something keeps waking me up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, his name's Bruno, and he's a bad cat.
No.
Oh, do you think it's the baby?
Yeah, probably the baby.
Probably. Who knows? All right, this next bit is, I labeled it, Your Fear is My Fear.
Your fear is my fear, too.
Triss wakes up, and she's, like, all giddy because she kissed 4. And she can't wait to go hang out with him because OMG, they kissed.
Just some girl giggles, really.
Just some girl giggles. But of course, like, he's, like, ignoring her.
Yeah.
And she's like...
he's, like, a
her teacher.
Protagonist's love interest? Is that why he's ignoring her?
Well, usually, actually, the first thing that I said, the teacher part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So then they go into somebody else's fear landscape. Do you remember what that is?
Yeah,
they can like simulate what their biggest fears are. And her, like, the person's fear is being kidnapped, which triggers the shit out of Triss due to the knight's kidnapping situation.
Yeah, the time she got kidnapped.
Yeah, like 3 days ago. And she handles it really poorly in front of everybody. And so 4, like, comes up to her and is like, what the hell was that?
What the flick?
And in front of everybody, and she slaps him and runs away. Cool.
That's cool. It's cool to slap your CO in most
it's really
police
cool to just
or military
do anything.
Organizations.
It's cool to date them, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like, I want to go home, but ends up going to the Erudite compound to visit Caleb. And they get in kind of like a heated discussion regarding how Erudite is treating abnegation. And he's like...
Can she just leave?
Apparently. I don't think so. She's not supposed to just leave.
Okay.
They're not trapped there.
Yeah, but they're trainees.
And they're trapped there, yeah. But Caleb's like, I just don't know what to believe anymore. And she's like, really? Then you're not that smart. And she leaves.
Maybe think with your fucking head.
Yeah, and she's like, Mom said research the simulation serum. She's like, okay.
Oh, no. It's just LSD. The CIA's at it again.
With the dolphins too? Like, guys, come on. You remember
Yeah.
that? Okay.
Did they give...
Some lady on LSD, like, fell in love with a dolphin doing research or some shit like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Before she can leave their compound, she's taken to Jeannie Matthews, who's the leader of Erudite, and she has to, like, lie. She's like, yeah, I also hate abnegation.
I hate those guys.
Yep. And she lies pretty good. And as she's talking to Jeannie, she realizes she recognizes this woman as the woman who spoke to Eric on that one day he was told to find the Divergent. Basically, Eric, the leader,
Oh, Macklemore?
yeah, was on the night Triss got kidnapped, was speaking to a random woman that she didn't know.
And that's the woman.
And the woman is Jeannie. And she's like, why was Jeannie at the Divergent compound? That's weird.
Divergent compound?
The Dauntless compound.
There's so many cool words in this book.
So many awesome words. Oh. Your computer said, do I want to allow HP Smart to make changes to your device? No. Rejected. Anyways. She's driven back to the Dauntless compound where Eric is like, hey, you're in trouble. Fuck you. And Ford pops up and is like, no, she ran away because she tried to kiss me and got all embarrassed. Which pisses her off and makes her really uncomfy. I know.
That's, like, literally not how you should handle the situation. If you have... Think with your fucking brain. Think with your fucking brain for a minute, actually.
Yep.
I'm sorry, girl. I'm waking
you
up the
pissed
girl.
As they talk, Triss realizes she's mad at Four, but he's like, yo, like, for, like, yelling at her in front of everybody. And he's like, I thought you would get it. I'm treating you the same as I would treat everybody else.
I'm literally bullying you like the rest of them.
Yeah. And she's like, well, you can either be the cruel instructor or a kind boyfriend, but not both.
He's not supposed to be one of those. Like, literally not supposed to be one of those
and
at
it's
all.
Extra gross because Four's like, I've been thinking about this for a long time. And they finally decide to be boyfriend and girlfriend.
Cool.
I don't really know what the timeline for all this is. Maybe like
3 days.
2-ish weeks. Maybe 2 weeks to a month. Because it's like still in the initiation period. And the first initiation the first like thing. It's not a long time.
It's not long enough to...
be thinking about this for a long time.
Yes.
Then Christina's like, hey girl, hey, Will, one of their friends, kissed me. And they're all lovey now. And Triss is like, oh my god, I just want to tell her that I'm vibing with Four, but I can't because he's my instructor.
Will they stay together?
No comment. Then
Hey, laugh at my fun joke.
No, your joke's going to be really extra funny when we finish this book.
Oh, cool!
So I will laugh then.
I foreshadowed without knowing it.
You did. Good job, beautiful. Where was I? So she goes out with Four after dark, and they go to the Erudite compound, where they have fun, sexy time in the car, like the train car. Yeah, did you think about that? She's like on top of him, straddling him. Can you believe it?
All right.
Yeah, anyway, so they get to the compound, and the lights are on, and Four's like, can't you see? They're gonna wage war on the abnegation. And somehow the Dauntless are going to fight for it.
Obviously, the lights are on.
I really didn't get how they got from point A to point B.
The lights are on.
Yeah.
So...
therefore...
they must be waging war.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you do with lights?
I don't know.
Every time I have the lights on?
These house lights? War.
Wartime, baby.
It's ceremony day. Yep. And she's going through her fearscape in front of everyone. And her fears are... crows, drowning in a box, again drowning.
I'm not afraid of crows.
If they started coming at me,
they are freaky though.
Yeah, them fuckers smart.
They're too smart.
Too smart. Drowning in a body of water.
Are crows or ravens bigger? Ravens are bigger, right?
I don't know. Birds are fake.
One of them's too big and too smart, and one of them's just too smart.
I think ravens are bigger than crows, but I think I'm just making that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm making that up.
Yeah, I think you are.
So, drowned, burned alive, being kidnapped, having sex with Tobias is one of her fears.
Radical.
Then having to kill her family. That would scare me too.
So everybody in the fearscape was like, hey, wait,
what was that second to last one?
What was that second to last one?
Was that Tobias we just saw? Oh, sorry. Was that 4 we just saw?
Was that T-Boy? Was that T-Money?
Everyone else saw that, right? Yeah, because they're watching. Like, just the leaders are watching.
Yeah.
But what's funny is that all the, like, initiates are watching her reactions to it. So the leaders can see what she's seeing, but everybody there only sees how she's reacting to it.
Why don't you just not show them?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's watching a reaction YouTuber, but you clip out just them.
Yeah. After the simulations, Eric is like, OMG, good job, girl. Hey, here's a shot. We're doing another simulation transmitter thing. It's new protocol. Everyone's getting these today. And 4 and her go to her room afterwards, and basically they, like, talk about sex. And she's like, they're both like, what?
Boners.
No, because they're both like, I'm a virgin. I won't force you to do anything. And she's like, you're also a virgin? I'm a virgin.
No way. You're children.
We're both virgins. I lost my part in the book because even the Lord didn't want me to read.
The Lord was like, this conversation's bad.
Literally. Okay,
Google Docs was like, can we not?
Where were we? We were just talking about being virgins. Yeah, okay. And 4's like, I won't force you to do anything. Good. Bare fucking minimum.
Bare fucking minimum, actually.
And he's like, we can do things however we want to do them.
Let's all take a tip from 4.
Consent is key.
Don't force anybody to do anything.
Don't force anybody. But then let's take a step back and remember that 4 is her teacher.
Oh, I forgot about that for a minute.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah. So then he's like, we can do things however we need to do them. And it's all uncomfy, and then he, like, takes off his shirt, and he's like, look at my back. It's got all the factions tattooed on them because I want to be like all the factions, not just one. I don't know.
I imagine that scene where Uncle Iroh's teaching Zuko about the four
kinda.
elements.
Yeah,
And Zuko's just like, why the fuck are you telling me about this?
Zuko's like, K. Christina, Will, and her talk about the ranking and how only 10 people are going to get in. But she's number 1. And Christina and Will are number 6 and 7. And you know what Trish decides? She's just going to kiss 4 right there in front of everybody. Which defeated the whole purpose of lying about their relationship. So that nobody thought she gained her way to first.
Don't do that.
She gets first and she's like, cool, I'm fucking him. But not fucking because we're both virgins.
But I don't know. Let's see how tonight goes.
Speaking of tonight,
fuck.
That's when she realizes, like, oh shit, the serum I got today.
Boner serum.
No, I don't know what it could be, but it connects us to a simulation. And Eurydice developed a serum, the serum, and Eric and Max must be working with the Eurydice. She's like, okay, I've got this info.
Gonna sleep on that.
Yeah, literally, because
bedtime.
You're not off, because she wakes up to everybody getting dressed and marching around in a very synchronized, unnatural walk. And she realizes they're kind of like doing like sleepwalker walking. And she's like, okay, I'm just gonna like go and pretend that I'm doing that with them. But this is the serum working. Now, a lot's gonna happen in these next chapters.
Cool. I love it when you say that.
Yes. So just keep your head on straight. Or gay, however you want to hold it, but just keep it there.
I'm gonna keep my head on ace.
Okay, that's cool too. I mean, like, I guess. Each person is given like a gun, and then they're put on the train. And she's like, gosh, I hope I find 4.
I love having guns and being on trains.
Me too. And she's like, I hope I was right about him that he's divergent. Because obviously that's what's allowing her to be awake during this serum. And they do meet up, and he is divergent because he holds her hand, and she's like, yes.
They're both divergents. We talked about this the last
second ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they are going to abnegation. And at abnegation, people are getting shot.
They do a massacre.
Like, straight up, it's a massacre. And Eric is telling somebody from Eurydice, he's like, what?
Boston Massacre? Who?
Oof. This is Chicago.
Chicago Massacre? Who?
Eric's like, yeah, they can't hear or see anything. They're just receiving commands and following them pretty seamlessly. And, you know, like, again, like, people are getting, like, shot. Like, they are going into abnegation. It's like, really bad. Yeah. And Eric is like, can I kill 4? And pulls out his gun. And that's when Triss pulls out her gun on Eric and shoots him in the foot, and they just run.
Radical.
But, obviously, they're captured quickly.
Is it because they're surrounded by an entire military force?
It is. And Triss is shot in the shoulder.
Ouchie.
Mm-hmm. They get taken to Jeannie.
I've never been shot with a bullet.
What? Are you even a real man?
Seems like it would hurt real bad.
It's manly to get shot with a bullet.
Let's talk to my dad.
Has he been shot?
He shot himself in the leg.
Oh yeah, idiot. Where was I?
Hey, Dad. L. Can you hold this L for me?
They get taken to Jeannie, and Jeannie's like, OMG, I suspected you, Triss, but not you, Tobias. And she's doing, like, a really typical villain speech about how, like, abnegation is the one that's, like, putting out a bunch of these divergent children, and it just doesn't make any sense. And Tobias is just like, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Like, the whole time. Like, he's mad. And Jeannie's
when do we flick off?
Jeannie's like, I made a new serum, and since Tobias is less divergent than Triss, I'm going to test it on him. And it works. He's, like, in his simulation. And apparently it's super good, because in that serum, people can act independently instead of only following orders. I don't know how that would work. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Cool. Radical.
And then Triss is thrown into a room, and in the room, she wakes up by being, like, it's, you know how in our Feared Landscape she was being drowned? Mm-hmm. She's being drowned in this one. Don't know how they had the room ready.
Yeah, go put her in the drowning room that we have.
A or B? Room A or B?
A still has the fish in it from the party, so B.
So B, okay.
Yeah.
Then her mom saves her. And she's like, that's crazy.
What's up, mama?
What are you doing here? And her mom's like, hey, no time for questions. Okay. I hate that
That's
trope.
really, like, when you want to...
Like, tell me what's going on.
Questions answered, really.
Her mom's like, I'm Divergent. My mom used to be a leader of the Dauntless and told me to get out of Dauntless.
I'm Divergent.
And she's like, the reason I think Divergent is an issue is because each faction specifically teaches their members to think in certain ways. And most people are able to train their brains that way. But we Divergent are not.
Literally, they're not fucking sheep.
They're not literally.
They're not sheeple like these other motherfuckers.
The Dauntless are catching up, and her mom's like, you gotta go find your father and brother, and then gets shot and dies.
Cool.
And the Dauntless run after her, and she gets cornered by Will, who's in the simulation.
Will they stay together?
No, because she headshots him.
Ooh, okay, bud.
So do you get why?
You could take a knee out or something?
No, and then, yeah. So Will's dead. Yikes. And she gets to the safe house, and Caleb and her dad and Marcus and Afiel are at what?
She's just, like, popping, like, her friends in the head, like, oh my god, I can't believe you're making me do this. Bam, bam, bam,
bam, bam. Oh no, stop.
Guys, stop making me do this. Bam, bam, bam. The cops.
She lets this group know that, you know, her mom's dead and they take care of her, and Caleb's like, she's like, Caleb, yo, why are you there? And Caleb's like, hey girl, hey. I did the research and you were right, so I dropped out of the Erudite compound. I'm factionless. And Marcus is like, we gotta go to the city. We can go to Amity. And Triss is like, no, fuck you. Like, I gotta get this program and stop this. People are being murdered. And,
I'm not Divergent like all of you guys.
She realizes, like, things must be in the Dauntless compound for some reason. And she, Caleb, Marcus, and her dad decide to go to the Dauntless compound. And they do it the same way she did the first time.
And her dad's just, like, a dude, right?
Yeah, he's just a dude. Marcus is just a dude. Caleb is just a kid.
Okay.
Nothing special about them.
And they're going...
What?
Why?
Exactly, I do not know.
Let's keep people...
For the plot.
that can help with the mission.
Yeah.
In the mission.
I don't even think Triss could help with the mission.
Yeah, but she
at least knows how to show a gun.
A dude.
Yeah. I wrote, to quicken this part up, they run into Peter, who is not under the simulation.
Peter.
And
How
he's
is
like...
Peter not under the simulation?
Because he's smart. He joined up with the bad guys.
Who the fuck is Peter?
And was in Triss's class. He's the one who stabbed Edward in the eye and then kidnapped Triss.
And almost threw her into the chasm that everywhere has.
Everywhere. Well, most specifically Dauntless, but yeah.
You know the chasm.
Yeah, I've been there.
Everybody knows the chasm.
Yeah, why do you think we have that hole over there in the floor?
Yeah, it's the chasm.
Chasm.
Everybody has a chasm.
Mm-hmm. Peter's like, I know where the simulation is. Take me or they'll kill me. Because, she shoots him in the foot or some shit. And she's like, cool. They take him, or he takes her. She leaves Peter, Caleb, and Marcus to, have a hangout. While her and her dad, for some reason, go up to find this place.
Again, just a dude.
Again, he's dead now. Because he's just a dude. He died. And,
she wanted to be an orphan so bad.
White people just want to be, discriminated against so bad that she had to go and kill both of her parents.
Please.
Well, she is Divergent, Justin. Did you think of it that way?
Oh.
And in the simulation room, you'll never guess who is in there. Tobias.
Our big T.
But he's under the simulation.
T-Money.
And Tobias, he, beats the fuck out of Triss.
Is it because he's, well-trained and good at...
And it's been 2 years and not, a single second since he started doing things.
Yeah.
And Triss is like, I can't kill you with the gun on Tobias. And she's like, but I can kill me. And he's snaps out of it. And he's like, OMG, no, babe. Hell no. They turned the simulation off.
They did, the Romeo and Juliet without the stakes.
Yeah, without any of the stakes. And they grab the disc of it, because apparently it's on a floppy disk or something.
Radical.
And Tobias...
It's a laser disc. It's a 10-inch laser disc they have it on.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget, Tobias is really good with computers.
Yep.
And things are going crazy, so they gather Marcus, Caleb, and Peter, and she protects Tobias from Marcus. Marcus is like, OMG, son. And she's like, yo, fuck off. You literally beat the shit out of your kid. Not fun. And they decide to hop the train to Amity, and they're like... I wonder what Cander's gonna do. She's like, I feel really unsafe with Peter and Marcus, but, then Tobias and Triss have this really vulnerable moment.
I feel really unsafe with Peter, the traitor, and Marcus.
Yeah.
Not a great guy.
No. Mm-hmm. And Triss is like, my parents died for me. And Tobias is like, yeah, that's crazy. Also, I love you. Is now a good time to say I love you?
Whittle you an orphan crazy. Can we bone or...
And she knows she has no home, and she must become more than just Triss. That's the end of the book.
That's a bad ending.
What'd you think?
I said it.
Okay, so what'd you really think?
It was bad.
Yeah, it's not a great book. It's not my fave.
Okay, do the yell.
What yell? Ah! Is that the one she does in the movie? She's like, ah!
Where they reuse it 3 times? It's...
Ah! 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 I can't even do it. It's so bad. I can't. I love the movies. They're like Hunger Games. I think is actually really good.
Do the
book
roar.
Wise and movie wise. Divergent, flop.
Okay.
In comparison, don't say
take
anything.
this the wrong way.
You're gonna say something bad about the Hunger Games.
No, don't. We're not gonna watch it. Maze Runner kind of slapped. At least the first one.
The movie slapped, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think this did.
No.
Divergent did not slap. Did you even watch Divergent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lou is into him.
That's what I thought.
Big Louie.
Yeah, no, the movie, I mean, I never got into these books. This is, the first time I'm actually remembering reading these, and I'm, really suffering through the second one, and I do not even know how I'm gonna do the third one. I don't know, Hunger Games is really good. I don't remember the Maze Runner much, book-wise, so we'll see how I feel about that, but I don't know. I just, my overall thoughts are, I do not like the love relationship in this.
Do you know it'd be cool if we could do a good book like Percy Jackson? That's culturally relevant and good, but...
We just did the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Yeah. But like a good book like that but it would just be us going, damn, this is good.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know, there's some funny shit. Have you even seen the stuff on, I know this isn't about Divergent, but the stuff on TikTok about how Rick Riordan was like, Percy jumps from the St. Louis
The
arch into the Mississippi. He's like, I thought it was closer.
Damn, dude.
I'm like, I love that. Like,
That's crazy.
I thought that shit was closer, sorry.
Oh.
Which I love, because it's like, I get that.
Fact check that? Fuck no.
Fuck no.
His fact checker who are like, I guess he can jump far.
I don't know. Maybe he's got really powerful legs. But, yeah, see, those are better books.
No.
But we just got 2, at least. Percy Jackson is 5, and then there's the other 5, and then there's the other 5, and then there's the other 2, 3, and then there's all the other books.
I saw someone complaining about, like, the action scenes weren't very long, and then someone brings up the book, and they're like, it's 4 pages. He kills a Minotaur in 4 pages. He kills,
Yeah.
like, Medusa in 6.
Yeah.
The Lotus Hotel is, like, 7 pages.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a good book.
yeah.
Better than Divergent. Anyways, this is Divergent. Finally, we finished the first one. Insurgent's next. We're gonna be okay with it. It's gonna be fine.
Is there a book after that?
Yeah, Allegiant is the last one. It'll be okay. We can get through it together. And then Maze Runner's next.
Fuckers in 3s, man.
It's called a trilogy, and usually that's how
Flop in 2.
how many books happen. It's either 5 or 3, I feel like. I prefer the 5. Anyways, my name's Blue. I love to read.
My name's Justin. I don't like reading.